Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer for those that are new, and today I'm going to do my November reading wrap up, and hopefully you get some inspiration to read for either the month of December or for the new year in 2026. So this month I read 6 physical books and I owned all 6 of them, which is very exciting. And so I completed 6 of those, and my average star rating though wasn't great. It might be my lowest score of all year, which is 3.5 stars. So it really says something about my reading this month that I enjoyed them. They were good, but they weren't great. They weren't really big wows or standouts, but they were some interesting reads. I had 2 4 stars, 2 3.5 stars, and 2 3 stars, which is kind of funny when that's the average is out to 3.5. So yes, let's go ahead and get started, and going in the order that I had finished the books for the month of November. So the first one I finished in November is Revenant-X. It is the sequel to Paradise 1 by David Wellington. It is a sci-fi mystery, thriller, kind of horror as well, where they leave off from the first book, where they explore this planet that they're trying to get to through the whole book of book 1, and what did they find, what did they discover, and the trials and issues that they encounter on this strange alien planet. And so I did really enjoy this. I'm glad I read it, and I'm still not sure if I'm going to continue on with the last book in the trilogy. It has not been released yet. I'll have to wait and see for what the synopsis is all about to decide if I want to continue on with the series. But I gave this one 4 stars, which is one of the top books for the month. So let's see which one is my favorite at the end of this video. Stick around to find out. And so the next book that I finished and did a whole spoiler vlog on is The Chamber by Will Dean. This is the first time I've ever done a spoilers a book full of spoilers. And so, a video documenting the process of how I read it. I read it very quickly, but there wasn't nearly as many twists and turns. But if you like deep sea diving, if you like a mystery of a whodunit, you might like this one as well. It does have some good terminology and learning about deep sea diving within this story, but it's just a kind of a whodunit kind of situation, and goes in the past into some other previous dives that they have done as well. So if you like some history, this might be a book for you. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. In the end, yes, 3 stars. And so I'd recommend it, but again, it was good. It wasn't great or outstanding or wow. It didn't really truly surprise me. So I was looking for some really big twists and turns, kind of like the last one by the same author. So the third book that I read then was The Orphanage by the Lake. Daniel G. Miller is the author, and this one is about a private investigator. She gets tasked with the finding a missing orphan, and that has left an orphanage, and the mysteries and thrillers behind who might have done it. Is she alive? Is she dead? Because the person that hired her waited a long time before she hired this new private investigator to find out what happened. She does discover what happened, which is good. So it's not a really big thing and cliffhanger at the end of the book, but it was a good read. I liked it. I did finish it, which is good, but it wasn't as about the institution or the struggles that the girls went through, which is what I prefer in a book about orphanages or institutions and things like that, or schools for girls. And so I thought it'd be more about that, but it's more about the private investigator. This is a start of a series, so if you're interested in continuing on and following the same private investigator, you might want to start with this one and pick up. I would recommend it. It was good. It wasn't great, but it was a good read, so I recommend it. I did give it 3.5 stars. So if you're interested in private investigation and the what is involved in this little girl's life and why she went missing and what happened to her, and also a little bit of a romance in there, so of course you can see we get up to the mystery of it all. So I did enjoy it. It was good, but let's go on to the next one. So the next book I read is The Frozen River by Ariel Lahone. And so this one was highly recommended to me from some of my friends on BookTube and some friends I met in real life in Chicago. And they said that I would enjoy this one. It is a historical fiction. It is about a midwife and her helping people, women give birth, and their stories and the times during the era of the late 1600s, and going back in time further to kind of lead up to the story of what currently is happening in their present day, and how it all kind of ties together in the stories and lives of those during this time frame. It was good. I did enjoy it. I did finish it. It just wasn't as enticing as I would have thought it would have been. I wasn't really gripped by any one specific character to help me move along in the story, but I did enjoy it. I did give it 3 stars in the end. I did like it. Again, it was good, not great, which is kind of the theme of this month. So I've been reading some books that I had on my shelves for a while, or been recommended to me to give it a try. And so I'm glad that I did. Now I know what everybody is talking about with this one. I recommended this one if you like the story of some like a midwife and helping women during a small town during, like I said, the 1600s, and what involved with that. Maybe if it had a dual timeline of maybe present day, maybe you'd like it a little more. I don't know. It just didn't quite hit enough for what exactly I was looking for, but I did like it. So I'm glad I know I read it, so now I can talk about it with those around me, which is cool. And so leading on to yet another very famous, well-known book and author, Station 11 by Elizabeth St. John Mandel. I've always been curious to know about this author, dystopian world, about what happens after the world ends, after a flu pandemic. How do people survive? It does jump back and forth from before the pandemic and after the pandemic, and what happens to how the kind of lives and stories intertwine. There were a couple of times with the backstory, the previous before the pandemic, that I was like, why are we needing to know this? Why is this relevant? And it does come together and make sense as you keep reading, but it's just kind of weird in knowing like, okay, well, why is this relevant? It's not made absolutely clear until you keep reading. But I did like that. The interesting thought of a traveling theater group, music group after the pandemic, and going into different towns and not knowing exactly who they're going to find, what type of people. Is it going to be hostile? Is it going to be friendly? And just kind of what it takes to survive after all technology ceases to exist. Fuel runs out, food runs out. How do people survive at the end of times? So I do like a good dystopian book. It was a short one. I did like it. It was good. I gave it 3.5 stars, but it was pretty predictable. It wasn't that mystery thriller, edge of my seat, what's going to happen next. And so there was a couple of times where I did think about DNFing this, which is sad to say because I thought I'd really love this author. I did really enjoy the writing of this author and the storytelling. They can tell a good story and interweave different things. But I don't know, there just was something missing from this to really grip me. But anyway, I did like it. I did enjoy it. I'm glad I know I've read a book by this author. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to read anything more by this author unless you tell me that I should. Or if you have maybe there's a better one by this author, let me know in the comments below. All right, moving on to the last book that I finished in the month of November is my nonfiction read for Red Sweaters. So now I've read 9 out of 10 nonfiction books for the month, so I'm still on track. This one is by Lucy Adlington. It is following 4 girls that turned into women during the course of World War II, before and after through it. And they are 4 Jewish women that their stories and how a red sweater saves their lives and what that takes and what happens to them and their families during this horrendous time in Germany, as well as Poland and surrounding countries, France as well. And so just what it takes to really survive during this time. It just so awful and heartbreaking, and to learn more about these stories and what it takes and what it looks like during this time for these women. So, and their families, like I said, and so they're who survived, who didn't. and all through the history. And so it's very interesting read. It was very sad, but a very historical. I did enjoy the storytelling of this author. I'd be interested in picking up her other book, The Dressmakers of Alsowitz. And so if you, yeah, I recommend this one. I did give this one also 4 stars as well, because it was a very compelling read, very interesting read. It did keep me interested throughout the whole month. And so, yeah, I'd recommend this one as well. So between the 2 4-star books, For Red Sweaters and Revenant-X, which one is my favorite for the month? That is a tough choice. But I have to go with 4 Red Sweaters. I'm gonna have to go with the nonfiction this time. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that one as my favorite read of the month, even though it was very sad and very interesting though. I really enjoyed that story. So I'm glad I picked that one up. I found it from a thrift store, so you never know what you're gonna find when you go book shopping, for sure. And so I do have one book that I'm still listening as an audiobook. It's Legacy, The Keeper of the Lost Cities, book 8. And so I'm enjoying that one. It is a long listen, so I'm reading that and listening to that as I can. And so I'm enjoying that one, but that one's going to continue on into the month of December for sure. But yeah, so that is my wrap up for the month of November. Again, I read some good books, not great books. It does go to show, since I decided to not read a Dungeon Crawler Carl book in the month of November, I did not have a 5-star read. So that is saying something. So maybe I need to get back into, as you can kind of see here, my pile of possibilities for December, that I need to get back into some Dungeon Crawler Carl to make sure I have a 5-star read. Who knows? But yeah, so please comment below, what was your one favorite book that you read in the month of November? I would love to hear about it. I love to talk with you in the comments. If you're not feeling chatty, please share something that is related to bookish, something bookish, either something you love to drink with it, a blanket, pillow, a chair, whatever you like to do while you read. I love to talk with you in the comments. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.